War cries and death screams drag Lissandra south. She can smell blood and fire on the wind, and the sharp tang of angry steel. Grass grows here where the thaw happens. It is not a sunny pasture, but it is the closest thing that most tribes of the Freljord will ever know. The dream spins and distorts. Her knees feel like they will buckle, if that would have any meaning. She steadies herself against the upright timbers of a burning hut. The flames do nothing. They are not real. A shadow falls over her.
Long have I waited for this day, witch.
Surprisingly, it is one of the Avarosans, a great red-haired brute, his neck bulging with strained arteries. He hefts a notched sword over his head. The bloodlust is plain in his eyes, as he imagines victories he will never see in his lifetime. Nonetheless, he is ready to deliver the final, cleaving blow to his sworn enemy. Lissandra has lost count of how many times she has died in someone else's dream. Each time, a piece of her drifts away, never to return. No, not again. Not this time.
Entomb!
Great claws of ice close around her to form a shield, entombing her. The warrior's blade does not even chip the surface. He staggers back, roaring defiantly as he... Let him awaken, and believe himself the hero who drove off the Ice Witch. It was only a dream. The Avarosan tribes will fall, just like the treacherous Harridan from whom they took their name. And Lissandra has more pressing concerns. The eye of the storm is most ferocious in the Freljord. The gale roars, lightning flashes, even snowflakes can draw blood. Lissandra finds the Spirit Walker channeling this elemental fury. His trance is much like a dream, a bridge between worlds. The storm is a prayer, a direct line to the Ursine's demigod master. Lissandra would spit. It was Lissandra who stood against the wild magic of the mortal world itself. For this defiance, the savage claws of a primal god raked across her eyes, blinding her. Lissandra would spit. That hateful creature is one of the few memories she could not purge from the Freljord, no matter how hard she tried. Lightning strikes the shaman multiple times. A toothy maw stretches his jawline. Fingernails blacken into claws. It is neither man nor bear, but something else entirely. All its life will be much like a dream. No sleep, no joy, only the storm. Lissandra edges closer, looking for anything she can use in the roiling madness. Then the shaman's frightful gaze snaps to her, and she finds herself face to face with an avatar of the Volibear himself. Without thought, Lissandra lashes out with cleaving spikes of true ice, pulled from the earth around them. She tries to snare the creature's limbs. Dark blood stains the snow. Thunder rolls around the distant peaks. The twisted shaman falls to his knees, his body torn between the shape of what he was and what he might have become. It is a kindness, really, for his mind is still mostly his own. Other eyes shine out from the storm. These shape changers are not the threat they once were. They are a battle for another time. For now, their delirium will serve well enough. Lissandra warily circles the Watcher beneath the ice. She can see her own tiny body on the surface above them. Her pale, corpse-like flesh is almost as white as freshly driven snow. The beast is barely aware of her presence. It is like some monstrous, mewling newborn. In the dreams of the Watchers, there's nothing, and more nothing, and more nothing. A horizon of nothing, framed by mountains of nothing. Above all that nothing, a sky of nothing, with dense clouds of nothing. In the face of all of that nothing, Lissandra fights to remain something. The abyss yawns around her. She watches the black sun devour her avatar, but no matter how much it pulls into its maw, there is always more for it to eat. She screams and explodes into dark fractals that divide into billions of Lissandras, every one of them screaming. Against all the nothing, the sound is barely even a whisper, and yet even that is enough to rattle the dream to its very foundations. Her barely conscious body traces glyphs on the surface of the true ice barrier. It is an old spell, born of a fire now long extinguished. She scrawls in spasms and convulsions. Her movements are desperate, jerking, clumsy. Only a shred of her spirit remains in her body. And then, in a rush, most of her returns. She vomits watery bile onto the ice and curls up as it freezes around her. Below, the writhing shadow sleeps again. It dreams of eating her for a little while longer, and that dream buys it the only measure of peace its kind ever seemed to desire. Peace. It is something Lissandra never experiences. Not anymore. She dresses herself and returns to ascend the worn steps. The Frost Guard await her leadership and guidance. She will find no peace in this life. That is a small price to pay to keep the beasts slumbering, dreaming, gnawing. Blistering winds lash the orphaned iceborn's cheek, almost bloody. Her nose went numb an hour ago. Or was it 2? It doesn't matter. Nothing matters, because whenever she closes her eyes, she sees the witch. Silhouetted against the never-setting sun, the woman rides a beast of ice, bone, and dark magic, and dazzles in a gown of freshly fallen snow. The horned helm that covers her eyes gives the impression of her head rising out into the stars, parched black lips part to offer horrific prophecies. Wreath, I see you. The Ice Witch has never failed to make a dramatic entrance into Wreath's dreams. The darkness grins, she continues, and says to me, ice and lies make desperate tools. I employ my hand to curl into a fist, to pluck out the ever-watchful eye, to impale it upon a spike of ice, before the wind howls its song only to the widening abyss. Wreath's eyelashes have frozen shut. Now it hurts to tear them apart, but she must. The longer they're stuck together, the harder it will be to break them open. She cries out and feels hot blood trickle down her cheek. She fogs a piece of ice with her breath and rubs it until she can see her reflection. The split in the corner of her eyelid is not too bad, but in that reflection, she sees she is not alone in her sheltered cave. An emaciated man shivers at the entrance, with early morning light casting its blue tint over his face. Then Wraith realizes this is no fanciful illusion. The man's skin is blue and translucent. His movements are haggard and stiff, as though he's trying to reawaken his failing joints.
It's cold, said the haggardly man. I knew this as I lay dying.
Wreath skitters backward on her palms and heels, away from him. I have no food, she calls out, hating the fear in her own voice. Little shelter. There's nothing for you to take from me. The man tilts his head.
I am of no hunger. No shelter shields me. I saw this cave and you, as the frost clouded my eyes. Our paths are like rivers meeting. I knew this as I lay dying.
Died often, have you?
Just the once was enough.
You... Wreath hesitates, unsure of herself in that moment. You saw the witch too?
No, but I hear the witch in my veins, in every moment with every beat of my once still heart.
He holds out his blackened hand to her.
There are others, little Iceborn. Others we must meet. And there are many miles to tread in each other's company.
And you knew all this as you lay dying?
Death reveals much, little Iceborn.
Wreath stands slowly, warily. Who are you? She asks.
I am no one anymore. I am but a passenger in my own body. My name is frozen over, but you may call me Shamble, and I shall call you
Wreath, of the Narrowfoot clan.
Then come, Wreath, Iceborn of Narrowfoot. The others are near.
She does not move. And who are they? The spires of the Frostguard citadel rise from the frozen landscape. Waves of magical aurorae, greens and pinks and blues, dance in the sky that is almost always night. The stars twinkle eternally here, in the coldest and cleanest air. Few know how to find this hidden fortress. There are many in this world who would raise an army and raze it to the ground. Those who do find the citadel rarely leave on their own terms. Even so, 5 weary figures trudge down from the rocky mountain pass, through the hidden wound in the very fabric of the Freljord. They seek the Ice Witch. Like so many others through the centuries, they each met Lissandra in their dreams, but now they each feel something else deep inside. Something beneath the ice. Something dark and empty. Hungry. Gnawing.
So many secrets buried in ice.